Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon, not here with Geeky Sparkles in this video. Hey, happy New Year's Eve. Hope you guys have a great New Year's Eve. Thank you for spending it with us. If you're listening to this video, I don't know why you'd want to listen to the video instead of partying, but go for it, man. We're going to talk about something that's been a huge story this year overall is Trump and the media. And the media is terrified of him. They really are, because I think they're terrified they're going to lose power. So this was in the Hollywood Reporter. Geeky sent this over. Trump's media censorship arsenal is growing. It's very, very curious that everybody is accusing Trump of censoring the media when the media censored everybody else for years. For years, social media censored people for years. And now they're like, oh my God, Trump's gonna shut us up. Oh my God, he's practically Hitler, everybody. Yeah, so we're gonna talk about this. And look, I do believe the pendulum is swinging back pretty hard. Is it gonna swing too hard to the right? I don't know. I really don't know. I seriously have a big question mark about next year, which is, tomorrow, but mostly after January 20th. And I've been talking with Geeky about it. And I'm like, I don't know exactly how I'm feeling going into next year. I think there's going to be a lot of strife and conflict. And, for a while, it seemed like everybody just kind of accepted the fact that Trump got reelected and they were going to be like, yeah, okay, whatever, moving on. No, I don't think it's going to be that simple. I think the media is going to kick and scream, because one of the biggest things that happened throughout the election process and leading up to it was that the media was exposed as liars. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them. A lot of these outlets are lying to people. They've been busted lying to people. They've been busted colluding. Basically, imagine Gamergate, but on a much, much bigger scale, right? And that's what's been going on. And they do work with one another. They do work in lockstep. They do protect one another. And they're furious, especially with Elon Musk, because he got control of Twitter, which was a critical node for the dissemination of information or misinformation, depending on how you look at it. But I mean, even Twitter is a great example of how people were censored. Because if you had any dissenting opinions about anything, you were shadow banned or booted off the platform, or, dogpiled by a bunch of sock puppet accounts with the right opinions. And now they're angry that people are getting sued. People are getting sued for defamation. And the media does have some protections, because, you don't want to be like, well, you can't criticize the king at all, because, that is what we tried to get away from all those years ago. But the media does take it too far, and they do flat out lie. They do lie, and they're not held accountable for that. And we're not talking like giving an opinion. We're not talking like, oh, I misspoke. Oh, I got my facts wrong, but we'll issue a correction or whatever. No, we're talking deliberate, malicious mistruths, half-truths to mislead the public into believing something, or to, get back at whoever they don't like, or whatever the deal is. And it's really amazing to see so many media outlets and so many people associated with the media getting sued lately. And, we've covered the Deadspin story, a child being defamed by what's supposed to be a sports site, but it's just an activist site, sports flavored activist site. And before that, we had the MAGA hat kid in CNN. And now we're actually dealing with Trump himself. And, this leads into the other part of the video, which is Disney, that Trump is talking about Marvel chairman Ike Perlmutter, who's actually a very good friend of his, by the way. He said, he didn't want woke Donald Duck. He said he praised him for getting out of Disney. Now, Trump sued ABC News and George Stephanopoulos, and they buckled. I mean, they did. They immediately, they were like, yeah, we're just going to pay him off. And we're actually going to correct our staff now. We saw The View. They had to read statements prepared by their lawyers. And my understanding of the George Stephanopoulos situation was he was warned repeatedly not to say that Trump graped a person, because that was an untruth. And he continued to do it. That's what we've been told. Now the media is terrified. They're afraid. They're afraid that he's going to censor. He's going to censor the media, and it's just absolutely incredible. And they talk about Elon Musk. They talk about Musk a lot, and they're like, and nobody seems to care. Like David Zaslav, he's just like chumming up to Musk. I'm like, hell, every one of these tech CEOs, every one of these media moguls lined up to take a flight down to Florida to go kiss his ring. You know, so I mean, if they're really worried, if they're worried about censorship, it's the individual journalists, I think, mostly, because a lot of the people that own their publications aren't worried about it. They're probably thinking, hey, the money's going to flow again, you know, whatever. Disney even, I mean, for all their wokeness, quote unquote, they're walking a bunch of stuff back too, because they want to make money. And they're like, oh, this is where America actually is right now. Okay, well, we don't really care. We just want to make money. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe. For more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys, check out clownfish-com. We got some merch out there. We got some exclusive content out there. You can also get that content over on clownfishtv.locals.com. This come from the Hollywood Reporter. Trump's media censorship arsenal is growing. So the only reason we're covering this, because we don't usually cover hard politics, but it's kind of hard to avoid talking about the orange one, because either so many people working in media have total TDS, right? And they're like going on about, or we're talking about tech, which we've been talking about pretty much since the beginning of the channel. And, Musk is his BFF now. And, we talk about the media a lot, and they're freaking out. They're freaking out. And it's like, I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if, trying to convince the public that he's literally Hitler is going to work again, because most people are just like, yeah, whatever. But the media is freaking the hell out because they're hiding shit. They're lying to people. Trump's media censorship arsenal is growing. The carrot or the stick, a new roadmap for the president-elect and his advisors to chill free speech, has surfaced as he targets networks critical of him. Again, you're allowed to be critical. You're allowed to have opinions. I started working as a journalist in the late 90s. So I know approximately how far you can push it, that you can have opinions. You can say, I think this person is a complete and total fuckwit, as my opinion. My opinion is this person is creepy. My opinion is, whatever. You can do that, but you can't go out and say, hey, this person has been convicted of XYZ crime when they were not, or this person participated in a hate crime if they did not, or this person embezzled money if they did not. You can't definitively say that. You can misspeak. You can be like, oh, whoopsie doopsie. Yeah, we need a fact checker on that because we got it wrong. But, we'll issue a correction. But you can't maliciously lie. You cannot just go out there and just make shit up because you don't like a person for whatever reason. In legal circles, it wasn't the monetary figure in Disney's $50 million deal to resolve defamation claims from President-elect Donald Trump that was surprising, or the fact that the network settled it all. It was the timing. Disney opted to dispose of the case before trying its luck on summary judgment, routine step in civil litigation in which the court evaluates evidence. ABC News has a strong case, though. They said, though Trump said E. Jean Carroll wasn't graped within the narrow technical meaning of the term, the judge made it clear the verdict didn't mean that the writer failed to prove that Trump graped her as many people commonly understood the word. He underscored the jury found that Mr. Trump, in fact, did that, as people understand the word. The court could have decided that Trump, who targeted Stephanopoulos' coverage, saying he was found liable for grape, when he was actually found liable for sexual abuse, didn't have a viable legal claim. As a public figure, prevailing on a defamation claim is a huge task. It is. It is, but Johnny Depp, I think, was the first domino that got knocked over. I mean, that I did not think he was going to win. I'm going to be honest. I did not think he was going to win. And now it's like, wait a second. We can sue the media for making shit up? Well, hot damn. Yeah, it's open season. So they're talking about New York Times versus Sullivan, the 1964 ruling establishing a defense-friendly framework requiring public figures to prove that those who made defamatory statements knew they were false. But this is the key: knew they were false or had serious doubts about their accuracy. The standard is a powerful shield for networks and publications that report erroneous information in good faith. Yeah, you can have it wrong. Your sources could be wrong. You can have it wrong. That's the nature of the beast. People are like, I love it when we get people in videos like a year later, like, that didn't actually happen. I'm like, yes, we reported it as a rumor at the time. That is what we knew specifically. It's like, God, just go back to like, I'd love to see people go back to newspapers like in, 1932 and be like, yeah, Germany's no threat to anybody. Germany's just mind their own business. Everything's good. It's all good here. And people like 1942 be like, you lied. You said Germany was cool, but they weren't cool. Look what happened. In 2016, the ever litigious Trump threatened to open up libel laws to make suing for defamation easier. So they're talking about, Trump going after, let's see here, the Des Moines Register and Gannett newspapers, for talking about his brazen, quote unquote, brazen election interference. So they're talking about CBS News getting sued for violation of Texas's consumer protection law covering deceptive advertising. He alleged the network segment with Harris misled the public. They did edit it heavily. Targeting the inclusion of a longer section of her response to a question about the conflict in the Middle East, Trump wants $10 million. These lawsuits are likely destined for dismissal, but by Trump's thinking, that doesn't matter. We have to straighten out the press, he said at a news conference on December 16th. So it's not even about the money. It's about sending a message. It's basically, they want journalists to think twice before running with a lie. And I mean, in that regard, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, again, if you're brazenly reporting falsehoods, and we've seen this, especially in the pop culture space, we've seen it. They'll all be in lockstep with a narrative. This is the story. They literally now, because we're in the digital age, it used to be that newsrooms were fairly autonomous. But now we're in the digital age, so they're all hanging out in like Discord together and Slack together, and they're all repeating each other's, oh yeah, we're gonna write an article about this. Okay, so then you're gonna cite us, and then we're gonna cite you, and then this is the story. This is the story. He's grapey, and this is what we want. This is, what I'm saying? It said also in Trump's arsenal, loyalists serving as heads of regulatory agencies. They're talking about Brendon Carr coming in and threatening to revoke broadcast licenses for stations owned by networks that have drawn Trump's ire. Again, if they've lied and they've knowingly lied, it's not even so much about the orange one as it is the American people. Do you want to be lied to? I mean, we spent years being lied to under lockdown. What else are they hiding? Do you want to be lied to? I guess. I mean, some people do. I think it's easier to lie to people sometimes because you tell them the truth they want to hear. And, I think if people knew the full truth about like the utter state of the world, they would freak the hell out anyway. So it's easier to just tell people, no, everything's good. It's all good. we're not on the verge of nuclear war every other day. No. It's all good. It's all good here. So Brendon Carr is looking at Google. They're talking about breaking up Google because Google, and I can speak to this personally, they've been censoring digital media publications that don't play ball. They're not part of the club. And it seems like they're comparing notes with other website owners. It seems like they're starting to loosen that up a little bit now that the election's over. I think it's because of the election, partially. I also think it's because of ad revenue, because Google wants to keep all the ad revenue for themselves by generating AI snippets of articles instead of sending people to websites. But they've effectively decided who gets to be heard and who doesn't get to be heard. And 9 times out of 10, the people that get to be heard have one point of view because the people in the tech companies agreed with them. The activists working there agreed with them, with the left-wing politics, and anything that didn't fit the narrative got excised, off the air, out of the papers or whatever. And we're seeing a pendulum swing. I think the only thing that's keeping people in line now, that's keeping the media companies and the tech companies in line, is the fear of consumers. I don't even think it's the fear of these lawsuits with Trump. They're making it out like it's a Trump thing. I think they're afraid of consumers. I think they're afraid of the American people, and you should be, because they're going to tune you out, and they already are. We've talked about this at length. They're already tuning you out. They're already boycotting your news product, and that's what it is. At the end of the day, it's a news product. They're not listening to you. They're listening to podcasters like Joe Rogan. They're going out to X now because Elon Musk is in charge of it, and he's actually eased restrictions on speech. So for all this talk of like, oh my God, they're going to censor everybody. Elon and Trump are going to censor everybody. It's like, no, they're just going to tell you can't lie without there being some kind of legal action, right? They said they're talking about Elon Musk again. That dynamic has shown a spotlight on the power that Trump will wield over deal-making in a fashion atypical of previous administrations. Reagan, maybe. Media executives have noticed in September, Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav and Elon Musk were seen sitting next to each other at the U.S. Open. How very dare they? The next month, Warner Brothers hosted Tesla for its robotaxi rollout event, which led to the studio getting sued for misappropriating Blade Runner. For Zaslav, the lawsuit might have been worth it. He gets access to the foremost Trump whisperer, and along with him, Trump's ear if he were to pursue a regulatory risky deal. Eyeing a spinoff of its legacy TV assets, Warner Brothers earlier this month reorganized its corporate structure. They're basically going to offload their unprofitable news organizations. Don't blame Trump. Blame the American people for being sick of your shit. That's what's really going on. The reason he's back is because they're sick of your shit. It really is that simple. I know people that never would have voted for Trump 4 years ago, but they enthusiastically voted for him this time or held their nose and voted for him because they're tired of the media lying. Everybody knows the media lies. Everybody knows it's a game, right? This is common knowledge. They're freaking the fuck out. They got busted and they're freaking out. Their views are dying, and they're going to be coming for YouTube soon. They are. It's a whole thing. But I don't think it's going to work because when they go to YouTube and they don't have the built-in audience, they fail miserably. There's so many talking heads from like CNN and MSNBC and these different pop culture blogs and whatever. And they try YouTube and they fucking fall flat on their face because they're inauthentic. And they're part of the system and they're part of the problem. And people think they're phony and they don't want to deal with them. This is coming from Variety. Donald Trump praises Marvel ex-chairman Ike Perlmutter for getting out of Disney. He didn't want woke Donald Duck. He praised Ike Perlmutter, the former chairman of Marvel, at an event in Mar-a-Lago. The guy went from stone cold broke to owning Disney. Trump said of Perlmutter in front of his supporters at his private South Florida estate. Then he got out of Disney because they went woke. He didn't want woke Donald Duck, right? Yeah, he did. He sold a whole bunch of his stock. Actually, Disney wouldn't have gotten so close to losing their board seats if they wouldn't have gone in on the politics as hard as they did. And again, they own ABC News. They have a huge control of the media. And I think the only one who hasn't kissed the ring yet really is Bob Iger. But the fact that they were willing to just, pay Trump to go away, and they have some new rules in place apparently over there. So it's all changing, guys. And again, none of this would have happened if it weren't for the American public being sick of it. So I don't think they're going to be able to fool people anymore. I mean, you've got a subset of people that want to be lied to, but that's not the majority of people anymore. So 2025 is going to be very interesting. I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We will talk later.